Good afternoon and welcome into the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth. Sales, service, and recreation. This is the J&J Truck and Auto Body pregame show presented by J&J Truck and Auto Body. For the highest quality work and hassle-free customer service, let J&J take away your stress. That's J&J Truck and Auto Body on East Philadelphia Street in Rapid City. And right as we are going on air this evening, we have gotten word that both teams have been asked to clear the field and go back to the locker room areas, completely out of their dugouts. There's lots of bits of lightning in the area and storms potentially moving in as well. So before the Hardhats and Papillion set to do battle, well, we might have a brief or lengthy delay. Either way, some sort of delay here at Black Hills Surgical Hospital Ballpark for at least lightning at this point. So let's talk about the Hardhats and their one game last night here at the Firecracker tournament. The Hardhats fell at the hands of Premier West, final score of 7-2. And the Hardhats really just couldn't amount consecutive offensive at-bats and together against Premier West. And they got a couple of big hits throughout that game, but never really back-to-back hits. And Premier West used really a 3-run third inning to propel themselves to the victory last night. They added 3 more in the top of the 7th. That was huge, and really kind of shut the door on the Hardhats and trying to mount any sort of comeback situation. So both teams retiring to the indoor facility and potentially making some friends in the indoor facility as we speak, and get set for baseball. Hopefully we'll have baseball tonight. The Hardhats are supposed to play a doubleheader against Papillion, Nebraska, and then against Rocky Mountain, the Lobos, later tonight. But this potential severe weather in the area right around first pitch time. Both teams were all warmed up, ready to go, and then the announcement came to clear the field and not risk being struck by lightning, honestly. So, well, hopefully let the weather pass and keep going, and we'll just send it back to national Fox programming until we're ready for baseball here tonight. So make sure to stick around and keep an eye on Fox Sports Rapid City and Hardhats TV, and we'll be on as soon as the teams are given the all clear here tonight to resume play here at Black Hills Surgical Hospital Ballpark in Rapid City. So until then, we'll send it back to national Fox programming right now.
the Black Hills. And now we take you to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth.
Good afternoon once again, and welcome into the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth. Sales, service, and recreation. My name is Adam Birch, and this is the J&J Truck and Auto Body pregame show presented by J&J Truck and Auto Body. For the highest quality work and hassle-free customer service, let J&J take away your stress. That's J&J Truck and Auto Body on East Philadelphia Street in Rapid City. Well, the lightning has passed. Really, the storm clouds have split around Rapid City, and looking like we're going to begin game one of this doubleheader for the Hardhats around 5:15 Mountain Time here against Papillion, Nebraska. And then, of course, the Hardhats set to play 2 games here tonight. So let's dive in once again. The Hardhats fell at the hands of Premier West last night by a final score of 7-2. 3 runs in the third gave Premier West the lead after 1 in the bottom of the second for post 22. And looks like we will have a new lineup from Coach Torvey before the start of this ball game. Not sure who exactly will be throwing for the Hardhats. Originally, Skylar Montgomery was going to be the starting pitcher for the Hardhats, and now I can't really tell who is down in the bullpen area warming up for the Hardhats in this one. So maybe just a sense of, because Skylar was all the way warmed up, ready to go, and then was off for a half hour plus. They decided that they did not want to risk injury and do anything more with that, with Skylar. So we'll see who exactly is on the mound, and let's see if we can get our information from Coach Torvey in a little bit. For right now, the Post 32 Papillion, Nebraska's lineup. It's built by Connect Home Center. Whether it's residential or commercial, Connect Home Center has been your hometown lumberyard since 1928. And for Papillion, Nebraska, Post 32, it's Luke Saxton, the second baseman, to lead things off. He's followed by Jackson Jeter, the left fielder, batting second. Brayton Jones bats third. He's the first baseman. Jack Burke, the third baseman, bats fourth. Nick Chanez bats fifth. He's the shortstop. Isaiah O'Brien, the designated hitter, bats sixth. Parker Wolf, the right fielder, bats seventh. Jaden Mache bats eighth. He's the catcher. Dominic DeMarco is the center fielder, and he bats ninth for Papillion, Nebraska. On the other side, the Post 22 Hardhats, their lineup does not change. And Skylar Montgomery will take the mound for the Hardhats, as Coach Torvey's lineup looks like this. It's Zeke Farley, the center fielder, who leads things off. Amarian Saylor, the left fielder, bats second, followed by Wyatt Anderson, the third baseman, batting third. Harrison Goode, the right fielder, in the cleanup spot, batting fourth. Dylan Marsh, the second baseman, bats fifth. Kai Jackson, the designated hitter, sixth. Alex Dietrich, the first baseman, seventh. Phil Bentz does the catching. He bats eighth. And Wilson Kiefer, the shortstop, bats ninth for the Post 22 Hardhats as they take the field here tonight for their game against Papillion, Nebraska. Skylar Montgomery takes the mound. Hardhats in their all-white uniforms here tonight. White tops, white pants. Rapid City across the chest of those white tops in red letters, a number below that. And then numbers on their backs in red as well. A red stripe down the pant leg as well for the Hardhats. On the other side, the post 32 out of Papillion, Nebraska is in kind of maroon at tops, white pants, and Pinnacle Bank across the chest in gold letters, and then gold numbers on their backs. And if they choose, the high stirrup socks feature maroon socks and 3 gold stripes on them. Montgomery, the right-hander, he works out of a windup. We'll give you his numbers as we get going. Montgomery, 7 innings on the season. This is his second start, 4th appearance overall, a 2-0 record. 1 save and 1 opportunity as well. 9 hits, 4 runs, all earned. 7 strikeouts to 4 walks, 3 hit batters, and an even 4 ERA for Skylar Montgomery, the young right-hander and talented right-handed pitcher for the Hardhats. Tap the Hardhats around Skylar Montgomery. Everyone back to their respective positions, and we are set for baseball here in Rapid City. Brief delay, and now finally ready to get underway. Montgomery works with Philip Bentz. He winds, kicks, and deals and misses inside for ball 1. First pitch at 5:17 local mountain time underway here in Rapid City. 1 ball and no strikes on the leadoff man, Luke Saxton. The second baseman looks at ball 2, a touch below the knees. 2 balls and no strikes. He bats from the right side. Got a beige batting gloves, actually no batting gloves. Now, there are beige batting gloves on his hands with a gray bat. 3 balls and no strikes. Montgomery kicks and deals and hits the inside edge for a called strike 1. Finally into the zone at 3-0. Now 3 balls and a strike. Montgomery, a deep breath into the wind and the 3-1. Chopper up the third baseline. It'll bounce foul before Wyatt Anderson able to scoop that one up. So the count runs full to 3-2. This team from Papillion, Nebraska. Yesterday they faced Terre Haute, Indiana, and defeated them. A very close game, 5-4 yesterday. Only game here today before playing a doubleheader tomorrow. Line drive to hooking down the right field line, foul. And we'll do another payoff pitch. Tomorrow they face Rock Canyon at 11:30 a.m. and then the 2 o'clock game against Millard South in their doubleheader tomorrow. Hardhats set to face Missoula tomorrow night, but have their sights set on these 2 teams here tonight. Bouncer to the right side, it spins fair, and a wild throw. Dietrich can't swipe the tag around, and it'll be an error, I believe, to start off this ball game, an E5. They put a hit up on the scoreboard. We'll see how everyone else rolls on that play. So 1 on, 1, nobody out. And the 2-bat of Jackson Jetter scores the bunt, offers at it, and misses. So it's a strike 1 on Jetter, the left fielder. It is ruled an infield single. Runner takes off for second. This is a fly ball slipping in center field. Zeke Farley, and it lands in front of him. He would have made that grab, but he slipped and fell to his knees on the wet turf. So it's runners on the corners, nobody out. And quickly, Papillion is threatening here in the first inning. Back-to-back singles to start the ball game. You see those dark clouds over Dinosaur Hill as they moved on past Rapid City. Didn't bring much rain here at the ballpark, but enough lightning to cause a delay. Jeter off of first and pitch a high fly ball hooking right field corner. Long run for Harrison Goode, and it lands on the warning track. 2 bounces the wall. 1 run comes in and scores. That's Saxton. Jeter to third, and up to second goes Braden Jones, the first baseman, and it's 1-0 Papillion after an RBI double for Braden Jones. 3 straight hits to start off this ball game, and it's just unfortunate that Zeke Farley lost his footing in center. He potentially might have had an opportunity at a double play with the runner in motion. Montgomery out of the windup, he kicks and deals, and it misses inside, back to the backstop, and Bentz can't corral it in time. Jeter scores on the wild pitch, and it's 2-0 post 32. Right off the bat. I believe that'll be a passed ball on Phil Bentz. Left-handed bat of Jack Burke at the plate. Runner at third, still nobody out. The 1-0. Fouled straight back to the screen. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. So it's 2-0 on 3 hits. Our umpires here tonight: John Whitcraft behind the plate and Yogi Milslegel in the field. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Montgomery misses a breaking ball outside edge on the left-handed bat of Burke. 2 balls and a strike. The other games here today at the ballpark for day 2. A 4-0 victory for Millard South over Rock Canyon. 2-1, chopped in front of the plate. Montgomery fields and fires to first after a peek at third, and that's out number 1, 1-3 in the book. Jones had to hold up at third. Game 2 featured Premier West and Terre Haute, Indiana, and Terre Haute 14-1. The victory for Terre Haute, Indiana. And then Premier West played a second game, back half of the doubleheader. They faced a good team from Missoula, Montana, and the Mavericks victory 8-1 over Premier West. First pitch swung on and missed by Nick Chanez. Montgomery winds, kicks, deals in the 0-1. High pop-up left side of the infield. Montgomery underneath of it. Anderson calls him off, and he makes the grab out number 2. And Jones still remains at third base. Brings up Isaiah O'Brien, the designated hitter. So this game originally supposed to start at 4:30 Mountain Time. Didn't start until 5:15. First pitch to O'Brien, swung on and missed, 0-1. Down to the plate on the right side for O'Brien. Montgomery back into the wind. He kicks and deals, and the breaking ball called strike 2 across the belt. No balls and 2 strikes on the designated hitter. Once again, 2-0 Papillion already. The 0-2, breaking ball swung on and missed. Bentz snakes it and tags out O'Brien. A strikeout and 2 unassisted for out number 3. But Papillion on the board first. Post 32 leads 2-0 after 1/2 inning of play. The Hardhats to bat for the first time after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. Bottom of inning number 1, it's 2-0 post 32 on a Papillion, Nebraska already. That score on the State Farm scoreboard insured by agent Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. And Papillion and Pinnacle Bank, this Pinnacle Bank varsity team, take the field for the first time defensively. Zeke Farley leads things off for the Hardhats. Righty on righty. He faces Tanner Apgar for Papillion. Apgar solely out of the stretch on the far third base side. Kicks and deals a one-pitch bouncer to the right side. Second baseman Luke Saxton fields and fires to first, and on one pitch, Farley goes down 4-3 for out number 1. On the season, Apgar 13 1/3 innings. This is his 5th start, 7th appearance, and 0-2 record. Actually, 4th start, 6th appearance over 13 1/3. A 1-1 record. Sailor looks at ball 1 inside. 9 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 4 walks to 13 strikeouts, and a 1.05 ERA. As Amarian Sailor looks at a called strike 1. Even count 1 ball and 1 strike. A whip percentage of under 1 at .975. The 1-1 ducks out of the way of that one. 2 balls and a strike. So this appears to be Papillion's ace on the mound. Opponents hitting just a .196 against Tanner Apgar. And ball 3 misses down and away. 3 balls and a strike. Apgar on the far third base side of the rubber. The high stirrup socks for Apgar on the mound. The 3-1, swing and a miss, 3-2. Farley, Sailor, and Anderson, 3 scheduled. The Hardhats would love a lot more hitters coming to the plate in this first inning. Chopper left side on a charge. The shortstop and Chanez fields and fires the first in time, out number 2. Kind of a weird route that Chanez had to take from his shortstop position. Kind of had to loop around in front of the second base bag, all while charging that ball field and make the throw to first. So it's quickly 2 up, 2 gone for the Hardhats. And out wide, Anderson, 2 outs, nobody on. Anderson looks at ball 1, a breaking ball downstairs. Set the defense for post 32. It's Jackson Jeter in left field, Dominic DeMarco in center field, and Parker Wolf, the right fielder. 1-0 to Anderson, fouled straight back off the screen. Even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. On the infield, left to right, Jack Burke at the hot corner, Nick Chanez, the shortstop, Luke Saxton, the second baseman, and Braden Jones, the first baseman, with Jaden Mache behind the plate doing the catching for Tanner Apgar. Ball 2 misses down and away in the turf. 2 balls and a strike on Anderson. The right-hander Apgar comes set at the belt, a deep breath, kick and deal, and the 2-1 swung on and missed. 2's across the board now, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 gone. Harrison Goode would be next, if we get that far. 2-2, Apgar delivers, and Anderson went down to a knee, went around, just trying to avoid that ball, and he went around for strike number 3. So the Hardhats go down in order in their half of the first, and they trail 2-0 to post 32 as we head to inning number 2. Back in a moment on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. Skylar Montgomery finished his warm-up pitches, and now Coach Clapperch and our home plate umpire, John Whitcraft, talking to Skylar on the mound. Did not see what happened. And the catcher, Philip Bentz, stays put behind the plate. So Coach Clapperch walks back to the dugout after that. And Montgomery looks to be okay. The right-hander will face 7, 8, and 9 of the Post 32 lineup. That's Parker Wolf, the right fielder, the catcher, Jaden Mache, and the center fielder, Dominic DeMarco. First pitch called strike 1 across the knees of Parker Wolf. 0-1. Wolf batting an even 200 on the season. Montgomery winds, kicks, deals, and the 0-1, a touch outside, even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 hits in 15 at-bats for Wolf. This Pinnacle Bank varsity team is 10, 11, and 1 on the season. Strike 2 called right above the knees, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But quickly out in front of the Hardhats, who enter at 29 and 17. The 1-2 popped foul. Look out. And it lands about 2 rows in front of me. I was ready to make a grab for that one. And that was the closest ball I've seen to coming into the booth. Perfect trajectory. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Wolf. Montgomery into the wind. He kicks and deals a 1-2 outside. Checked his swing, no appeal. Scoreboard says 2-2. Our home plate umpire has not corrected that, so Montgomery into the line for his 2-2. Ground ball, base hit past the diving Wilson Kiefer into left field, and Parker Wolf on with a single. Back-to-back innings that Papillion has had the leadoff man on. They started the first inning with 3 straight hits, 2 singles, and a double. Starting the second inning with a single as well. Sky's starting to open up a little bit behind me. Batter Mache squares the bunt, pulls back, and the pitch misses outside for a ball. Bends through down to first. And it got away from Dietrich, but not far enough. The catcher, Mache, batting .375 on the season. 9 hits and 24 at-bats. And now Coach Clapper's out of the dugout again to talk with Montgomery. And he'll take the baseball. So Montgomery visually frustrated with himself. And we'll see who is on next for the Hardhats. It looks to be Dylan Marsh, but either way, we'll take a step aside here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. It is Dylan Marsh to take over for Skylar Montgomery. And Papillion will have a runner on first, nobody out. And it's a 1-0 count on the catcher, Jaden Mache. Mache bats from the right side, his front foot on the very top of the right-handed batter's box. Suspecting bunt, and he scores the bunt, offers at it, and drops it down in front of Marsh. Fields and fires the first in time. The sacrifice works to perfection. And even I expected bunt with the front foot on the front of the batter's box. For the most part, usually hitters either right in the middle or towards the back of the box. You don't see too many hitters put their front foot on the top of the box. Runner on second, 1 out now, 2-0 Papillion, and the left-handed bat of Dominic DeMarco looks at a called strike, 1 outside edge, 0-1. So looks like Amarian Saylor takes over at second base for Dylan Marsh, and my guess would be Jed Jensen in left field. DeMarco flares one foul, left side out of play. 0-2. And from what I can tell, that is Jed Jensen in left field. So quickly the Hardhats switch around their lineup, and Marsh has to come to the mound. Pickoff move back to second, he just fakes a throw. The count remains 0-2 on DeMarco, top of the order on deck. And Marsh misses outside, trying to breaking ball on that, trying for the back door, and couldn't hit it. Still not sure what the issue was with Skylar Montgomery. 1-2, breaking ball, bouncer to Kiefer at short. Only played a first, a wild throw, and it looked like DeMarco was going to beat it anyway. It's an infield single for DeMarco. Up to third goes Wolf. And now runners on the corners with 1 out. Top of the order, Luke Saxton. A single and a run scored in the first inning. Batting already for the second time in the second. Facing Dylan Marsh for the first time, however, and he chops one to Anderson at third. On a hop, he fires his second for one over to first, not in time. A run comes in to score, and Saxton reaches on the fielder's choice. So no RBI for him, I believe. Actually, there will be an RBI. Wolf scores on the play. DeMarco out at second. Pickoff move over to first, a little bit wild, but Dietrich handles it, and Saxton back diving in. 2 outs, a man at first, 3-0 Papillion, and Marsh hits a zone for a called strike one on Jackson Jeter. A single and a run scored for Jeter at the plate in the first inning. Marsh ready, and the 0-1. This is downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeter holds his hands high and way back behind his body. Almost straight up over wide of his right shoulder. 1-1, misses a touch upstairs with the breaking ball. 2 balls and a strike. And Braden Jones, who has the lone RBI of the first inning, on deck. Marsh kicks and deals, and Jeter swings right through it. Actually, foul tipped it into the glove of Benz. 2's across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes. A man on first and 2 gone. Vetter batting .293 on the season. Runner takes off for second. The pitch is blooped into center field, and it's Harrison Goode to call off Zeke Farley for out number 3. Vetter goes down on the F9. Papillion on the board once again. It's 3-0 heading to the bottom of inning number 2. Back in a moment right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. Scored 3-0 in favor of Post 32 over Post 22. As we begin the bottom of inning number 2. It'll be Harrison Goode, Dylan Marsh, and Kai Jackson. And it won't be Kai Jackson, I believe, because the Hardhats lost their designated hitter. It'll be Judd Jensen. High fly ball to center field. Back is DeMarco. He's underneath of it now and makes the grab. A 2-hand squeeze on that one for out number 1. Hardhats, a team approach at the plate, trying to go after this pitcher Apgar early. But it has not been a benefit of them so far here in the early going. First pitch to Dylan Marsh, fouled away straight back to the screen. 0-1. Apgar only at 14 pitches. The 0-1 to Marsh. Swing and a miss. Ball went back to the backstop off the glove of the catcher, Mache. 0-2. Sunshine is shining bright on the field now. The left fielder, Vetter, looking straight into the setting sun. 0-2. This is a little bit high, maybe a little bit outside. Didn't miss by much. A ball and 2 strikes on Marsh. Not expecting a fastball there. Just about rang him up for it. Mache sets up inside. Marsh turns and pulls it down the left field line. Running grab by Jackson Vetter. About 5 steps in front of the foul line. And he robs Marsh of potentially extra bases for out number 2. Good read on that ball by Vetter. Looking straight into the sun. Didn't have any issues tracking that baseball. And now Jed Jensen. Jensen looks at a called strike 1 just above the knees. 0-1. So Jackson out of the lineup without recording an at-bat as the designated hitter. Jed Jensen and the 0-1 misses downstairs. Even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two outs, nobody on for the Hardhats. They went down in order in the first. Quickly 2 gone in the second, and the 1-1 misses high. 2 balls and a strike. That was the 20th pitch for Tanner Apgar. Jed Jensen on the season as he looks at ball 3 outside. Enters just below 200 at 196. 9 hits and 46 at-bats. Apgar kicks and deals and misses inside. Ball 4. Jed Jensen, the first base runner of the ball game for the Hardhats. It comes with 2 outs here in the second. So the perfect game is no more. The Hardhats still without a hit, though. Brings up Alex Dietrich. Dietrich bats from the right side. The first baseman looks at a ball. The throw down not in time. It looked like the throw beat Jensen diving into second, but it bounced out of the glove of the second baseman Saxton. So a stolen base, and the Hardhats in the scoring position now for Dietrich. He's batting .274 with 2 runs batted in with 2 outs. 18 in total. The 1-0. Bouncer right side on a hop. Saxton fields and fires the first in time, out number 3. So the Hardhats gain a base runner, a 2-out walk. He stole second, but he's stranded there. And they trail 3-0. We head to the third after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.
SportsRapidCity.com.
Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. Braden Jones to lead things off for Post 32 out of Papillion, Nebraska against Dylan Marsh. And Marsh misses outside for ball one. Jones an RBI double in his first at-bat in the first. Scored the opening run of this ball game right away. And he pops one up right side. Bentz gives chase, but it's out of play. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll set the defense now for the Hardhats after the substitutions. It's Jed Jensen in left field, Zeke Farley the center fielder, and Harrison Goode in right field. Wyatt Anderson at the hot corner, Wilson Kiefer the shortstop, Amarian Saylor the second baseman, and Alex Dietrich the first baseman. Breaking ball runs inside and hits Jones on the backside. Leadoff base runner once again for Papillion. They've had that leadoff man on each time, and every time in each of the first 3 innings, that leadoff man has scored. So Jones will take his lead off of first, Dietrich holding him on. Left-handed bat of Jack Burke, the third baseman. Bouncer right side, Saylor bobbled at second, underhand flip, and out at second. Jones slid in there just late, and the Hardhats do gain an out. And Burke just replaces Jones after the fielder's choice. Look like a pseudo-typical 4-6-3 double play, but you can never assume a double play in this great game of baseball. Here's Nick Chanez, and he pops one foul right side out of play. 0-1. Chanez, the shortstop, popped out in fair territory to the third baseman, Anderson. Just a high pop-up on the left side of the infield. His first at-bat, so he's 0-1. And ball one misses a touch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chan is a tall, muscular shortstop. And the 1-1 from Marsh misses down and away, snagged by Bentz. 2 balls and a strike. It's Burke off of first with 1 out. 3-0, Post 32. Hardhats have just 1 base runner to show for there are no runs. Bouncer left side through the gap into left field, and it's a single for Nick Chanez. But runners on first and second with 1 out. Once again, Papillion in business to start an inning. Here's Isaiah O'Brien. 2 on, 1 out. O'Brien bats from the right side and looks at a called strike 1 across the belt. 0-1. He struck out and was tagged out by the catcher Bentz in the first inning. That was to end the opening half inning. Open stance on the right side. The 0-1 from Marsh. Breaking ball called strike 2. Just 2 strikes on O'Brien now. Parker Wolf on deck. Marsh, 2-strike pitch, swung on and missed. Powered a high fastball right past O'Brien, and he goes down swinging for the second time. And that's the first strikeout of the ball game for Dylan Marsh. That brings up the aforementioned Parker Wolf. And Wolf flies one right at Harrison Goode, and he makes the grab for out number 3. Papillion kept off the board for the first time in their half of the third. The Hardhats try and counter. They're down 3-0 in their half of the third. Right after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.
Fox Sports Rapid City and streaming at foxsportsrapidcity.com.
Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. 3-0 our score on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. That 3-0 score in favor of Post 32 out of Papillion, Nebraska. Right down by Omaha. This Hardhats club actually went bowling in Papillion when they were down in Omaha last week. Right-hander Apgar back to the mound for Post 32. Kiefer squares the bunt, drops it down, and it lands foul. And actually, that's Phil Bentz to lead things off. Bentz, Kiefer, and Farley to bat in the third. Hardhats only have one base runner through the first 7 batters faced. And that came as a 2-out walk drawn by Jed Jensen. 0-1. Bentz looks at ball 1 high, a fastball at the eye level. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Hardhats catcher this season batting .205. Bounces the bat off his right shoulder, and a bouncer right past the pitcher on the mound, fielded by the second baseman, and he throws in time, beat him by a half step. Saxton throws him out for out number 1. Brings up Wilson Kiefer. Kiefer, the shortstop for the Hardhats, and 9th spot, usually in the Hardhats order. Kind of the second leadoff man the Hardhats like to use him as. Kiefer looks at ball 1 outside. Wilson Kiefer on the season, batting just 4 ticks under 300 at .296, a .905 OPS, 9 doubles, 4 triples, 17 batted in. 1-0 becomes 2 balls and no strikes as a fastball misses high. And Kiefer last night was robbed of extra bases. 2-0, swung on and missed. Fastball up in the zone. Kiefer went after it. 2 balls and a strike. Was robbed of extra bases in the first inning. That potentially would have changed the ball game. Diving out, stretched grab. The 2-1 bounced straight back to the screen, 2-2. And he walked in the 4th and bounced out to a shortstop counterpart in the final 7th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Kiefer, 1 out, nobody on. Apgar kicks and deals, and Kiefer swings right through it. He goes down on strikes for out number 2. Second strikeout of the ball game for Tanner Apgar. Top of the order now for the Hardhats and Zeke Farley. Saw this a little bit last night. It really took one trip through the lineup to really see how the starting pitcher fared. And Farley started it off in his second at-bat with a triple last night. Ended up scoring in the 3rd inning. Apgar kicks and deals. The breaking ball hits the zone. 0-2 now on Farley. Jab of the plate on the right side. Shoulder width stance with 2 strikes. 0-2. Runs inside and hits him. Looked like it hit him on the elbow. There is a guard on that front elbow. Farley just shakes it off. And Apgar makes sure he's all right. Good act of sportsmanship for Tanner Apgar. No malicious intent. So Farley aboard first. Plenty of speed there after being hit by a pitch. Second base runner of the ball game for the Hardhats. Brings up Amarian Saylor. Saylor had a good trip to Omaha. Was hitting extra bases very consistently, especially after the first couple games. It's cooled off a little bit recently. Back-to-back pickoff moves over to first, and Farley dives back in both times. But Saylor bats .373 on the season. He swings at the first pitch and drives it to right center field over the head of the center fielder at 2 bounces up against the wall. Farley being sent around third. Saylor will stop at second with an RBI double. And the Hardhats on the board with a 2-out double from Amarian Saylor. Boy, that feels like the best thing as a broadcaster. Whenever you talk about a young man like Amarian Saylor hitting extra bases, and the very next pitch he goes out and hits an extra base hit. And gets the Hardhats on the board. So it's 3-1 post 32. And in scoring position, there are still 2 men out for Wyatt Anderson. Anderson struck out swinging his first time. Pass from the right side here. Catcher Mache sets up down and away, and it ends up inside on the edge, called strike 1. So Saylor off the second, 2 gone. First hit of the ball game, and it was a big one. 0-1 to Anderson. Runner takes off for third, a bouncer left side, through the gap into left field. Saylor scores easily. It's an RBI for Wyatt Anderson, and the deficit cut. And once again, throw down to second. Anderson's out at second. The throw got away and went to the catcher. Anderson thrown out, but the run does count. It's 3-2 Papillion as we head to the 4th. Back in a moment right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are your community. We are your neighbors. Our family of doctors are invested in our community. At Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, we are honored to help you along the journey from injury to recovery. You have a choice with Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you.
Welcome back to Rapid City as we get set for inning number 4 into the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail broadcast booth. Sales Service and Recreation. Dylan Marsh misses outside for ball 1 on the catcher Jaden Mache. 8, 9, and 1 of the post 32 lineup now, leading just 3-2. Breaking ball checked his swing. The appeal to first, and he did go around, says Yogi Milslago. Count to 1-1. Marsh set, and the 1-1. Fly ball right field. Back is Harrison Goode roaming towards the line underneath of it now and makes the grab for out number 1. So Mache goes down on 3 pitches. Here's Dominic DeMarco. DeMarco bats from the left side, a single in the second. Was stranded at, actually out at second base on a fielder's choice. Scores the bunt, offers at it, and it bounces foul. Marco tried to lay one down in front of Anderson. Natural drag bunt for the left-handed bat. This ball game feels like a different ball game now that the Hardhats have got to the starter Apgar. It's a 3-2 margin now as Marsh misses outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. But it really took a 2-out hit batter and then Amarian Saylor with his double. He hit that ball well and hard over the head of the center fielder DeMarco, and it just 2-bounced the wall. Farley with his speed scored easily, and then Anderson with an RBI single. And Saylor in motion, he scored easily. But Anderson thrown out at second base to end the inning after the throw from right field came in a little bit wild. Ended up being 9-6, being thrown out at second. So he did get credited with a single and an RBI, but the rally ended at that point. 2-2 to DeMarco, flittered foul out of play. And we'll do the 2-2 once again. 1 out, nobody on. DeMarco and then the top of the lineup in Luke Saxton. 2-2 waved at and missed. And ball in the turf. Benz chased him a little bit, decided to throw it down, and it's in time for the 2-3 putout. A strikeout, the second of the ball game for Marsh, with the 2-3 putout for out number 2. Top of the order now in Saxton. And 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch misses outside, ball 1. So the first time in this ball game after getting the leadoff man on for the first 3 innings, each of the first 3 innings, Papillion fails to do so in their 4th. Ball popped out of the catcher's mitt. Misses outside for ball 2. Marsh set the 2-0 to Saxton. Popped up right side, but out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Saxton, a single in the first, scored a run. And then reached on a fielder's choice and drove in a run in the second. 2-1 becomes 3 balls and a strike as he misses up and away, ball 3. 3-1, popped up behind the plate, out of play, 3-2. It's nice to see Mother Nature hold off and kind of split around Rapid City. The baseball gods having a little bit to do with that, knowing that Might be a long night for the Hardhats and everyone here in Rapid City if this ball game was delayed any more. Wind blowing about straight in from left center and kind of swirling right to left. Payoff pitch from Marsh, down and in the turf, and laid off by Saxton. He draws a walk, and he's on base for the third time in as many times he's seen the plate. Here's Jackson Vetter. He steps in on the right side of the dish. First pitch to Vetter. Outside and a little bit downstairs for ball one. Vetter 1 for 2, a single and a run scored in the first. Flied to right to end the second. 1 on, 2 outs. The 1-0 from Marsh. As a fly ball to center field. Farley back and to his left. He's underneath of it. Puts a squeeze on it for out number 3. And post 32 kept off the scoreboard once again. A couple of zeros put up, and the Hardhats try and at least tie things up in their half of the fourth after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation set for the bottom of inning number 4 here in Rapid City. Day 2 of the Firecracker tournament. Always over Independence Day weekend. And the 47th annual, hosted by Post 22. First of a 2-game doubleheader here tonight. The first against Papillion, the latter against Rocky Mountain, the Lobos. Harrison Goode to lead things off in the Hardhats' fourth. Goode, Marsh, and Jensen. And Harrison Goode drives the first pitch to right center field. Back is the right fielder underneath of it, and he makes the grab. Parker Wolf. One right fielder flies out to the other for out number 1. So Goode is 0 for 2. A pair of flyouts, 1 to center, 1 to right. And brings up Dylan Marsh, also a flyout on his line. But his to left. One that he just got underneath of and hooked down the line. Marsh looks at ball 1 low. 1 ball and no strikes. So Marsh began the ball game at second base, moved to the mound, and he's looked pretty good on the mound ever since entering the ball game. 1-0 bounces in front of the plate, 2 balls and no strikes. Apgar is just a couple pitches over 40. This will be his 42nd. 2-0 to Marsh. Bounce or a line drive right side. And foul. Off of the net in front of the Papillion dugout. 3-2 our score in favor of post 32 over post 22. 2-1. Downstairs, scoop by the catcher, Mache. And now 3 balls and a strike on Dylan Marsh. Marsh just missed a home run in Omaha. Ended up being a double. But it hit high off the wall and he just missed by a couple of feet. The 3-1 fouled off of the screen. Count runs full to 3-2. 1 out, nobody on. Jed Jensen on deck. But first the payoff to Dylan Marsh. Hepgar likes the sign, comes set. High leg kick and delivers, and Marsh swings in, flares one down the right field line, foul and out of play. So we'll do the payoff once again. Dylan Marsh overall on the season, batting .340 in 50 at-bats, 17 hits. Payoff once again, Apgar to Marsh. And it's a bouncer right back to Apgar. He runs 3/4 of the way to first, underhand flip in timeout number 2. Might have been ball 4. Marsh protecting with the 2 strikes and just kind of flared his bat out in front of it to make weak contact. 1-3 in the book, out number 2. Brings up Jed Jensen. A walk and a stolen base in the second. He was stranded there. The lone base runner for the Hardhats up to that point. Jensen chops one foul, 0-1. Apgar, a deep breath, kicks and deals, and Jensen looks at a called strike 2, outside edge. A couple of shakes of the head, and now he'll have to regroup, regather himself as he steps back in. The 0-2. Bouncer in front of the plate, laid off by Jensen. A ball and 2 strikes. 3-2 our score. 3 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for Papillion. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Hardhats. Most of those hits for Papillion coming in the first inning. The 1-2. And checked his swing on a high fastball, laid off of it. The appeal to first, no swing. Count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Apgar ready once again out of the stretch, kicks and deals the 2-2. Down and away, scoop by Mache. And the count runs forward to Jensen, 3-2. Jensen was down in the count, 0-2, now to 3-2, and the payoff pitch. Outside edge, called strike 3, hit the fastball, outer edge, and it's a backwards K in the book for out number 3. Hardhats go down in order in their 4th. They trail 3-2, heading to the 5th, right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.
Gunderson, Palmer, Nelson & Ashmore has provided a full range of legal services for over 40 years in Rapid City. As one of the largest and highly respected law firms in western South Dakota and multi-state region, our expert team of diversified attorneys offer a very personalized style of legal representation. Whether it's support and recommendations with legal documents or the strongest proponent in a court of law, trusting who you hire as your advocate is vital in achieving the best results. Contact the experienced professionals today at Gunderson, Palmer, Nelson & Ashmore Attorneys at Law.
To inning number 5 we go as we welcome you back into the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. Adam Birch alongside you, set for the 5th inning. Dylan Marsh kicks and deals and misses high on Braden Jones for ball 1. Hit by a pitch his last at-bat, an RBI double, and his only plate appearance before that, the 1-0. Checked his swing, it's called a strike either way. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jones. That was really the only loud contact against Skylar Montgomery before he exited the ball game. He gave up several hits though. 1-1, bouncer on right side, backhand stop by Amarian Saylor. 1 bouncer to Dietrich, and it's in time for out number 1. Big round of applause for Amarian Saylor, keeping that ball from going into center field. Roaming to his right, backhand stop, planting, and throwing off his back foot. Had to skip it in there, but Dietrich handled it well. And it's out number 1. They say if you have to skip the ball in, it's better to bounce it early rather than make the first baseman short hop pick it. First pitch to Jack Burke, fouled straight back off the screen, 0-1. Burke 0 for 2, reached on the fielder's choice. His last trip, bounced back to the pitcher. His time before that, this one a bouncer right side into center field. And Burke on with a single with 1 out. Now Nick Chanez. 1 for 2 day for Chanez. A single his last trip. Popped out before that. Runner on first, 1 out, 3-2 Papillion. The Monarchs, as it says on their lineup card. First pitch found straight back to the screen, 0-1 on Chanez. But the sponsor, Pinnacle Bank, across their chest of their maroon jerseys. 0-1, breaking ball bounced in front of Benz. He blocks it way outside, even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Marsh at 48 pitches, this is his 49th. And he's gone 3 1/3 so far. The 1-1. Outside by a hair, 2 balls and a strike. And really, a similar situation to what the Hardhats had last night. Fell behind 3-1. Ended up getting the game to 3-2. Just couldn't fully recover. Chanez fouls away the 2-1. Becomes 2 balls and 2 strikes. Middle infield and double play depth along with Anderson at third. Dietrich holding on the runner at first. That's Burke. And a check over at first off the glove of Dietrich, and Burke thought about going to second. He holds up. First base coach had to kind of jump out of the way. Two from Marsh. Breaking ball lined in the left center field, down for a base hit, and puts 2 on with 1 out. Back-to-back singles, and Chanez into the hit column for the second time with 2 singles of his own. Eighth hit already for Papillion. Now Isaiah O'Brien, a pair of strikeouts on his night. 2 on, 1 out, 3-2, post 32. First pitch, a high fly ball to left field. Jed Jensen to his right. Underneath of it, can of corn for him. Puts the squeeze on it, and it's out number 2. So O'Brien down on 1 pitch and F7 in the book. So 2 on with 2 outs, and it brings up Parker Wolf. Wolf 1 for 2, a single run scored in the second. Wide to right after that. Pick-off move over to first, and a slap of the tag, but it's not in time. Dietrich just tried to sneak in behind Nick Janis. Seen that move several times this season from the Hardhats. First pitch to Wolf, fouled back to the screen, 0-1. Hardhats being out hit 8-2. Farley playing about straight up the middle in center. Big gap in the alleys though. 0-1, fouled right over my head. And out of play, 0-2. Tap to the plate on the right side for Wolf. Marsh set. Peek at second, double takes. High leg kick, and he deals. Chopper left side. Wilson Kiefer over, stumbles. The throw to second, not in time. Jan is in standing up, and he's safe at second. So everyone up 90 feet. Burke to third, Chanis to second, and Wolf reaches on a 2-out fielder's choice. Make it the 9th hit of the ball game. It shouldn't be a hit, it should just be a fielder's choice. It's on the board as the 9th hit. First pitch swung on and missed by Mache. Oh, 1. Mache, the catcher, dropped down a sac bunt in the second, fly to right after that. And he looks at ball 1, a touch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Base is full of maroon Pinnacle Bank jerseys. Marsh ready. Kicks and deals the 1-1. Down and away. Scooped by Benz. 2 balls and a strike. Dominic DeMarco on deck. Should this inning continue, and should the lead balloon any further for Papillion? Foul ball backing out of play on the right side. 2's across the board now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases full and 2 gone. Marsh looks into Benz, likes the sign, comes set. Benz sets up down and away. The 2-2 inside. 3-2. Account runs full. Nowhere to put him. Marsh set for the payoff. Here it is, the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him to go down swinging. Mache goes down with the bases full. And the score remains 3-2 in favor of Post 32. Hardhats the bat in their half of the 5th after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. A 3-2 margin in favor of Papillion, Nebraska, post 32 over your post 22 Hardhats out of Rapid City. As we begin at the bottom of the fifth, that score on the State Farm scoreboard insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. But the Hardhats being out hit 9-2 in this ball game. And currently, Papillion has left several men on base, including the bases full, just this last half inning in the top half. Alex Dietrich to lead things off. And chops one foul right by the Hardhats dugout. 0-1. Dietrich, a bouncer to the right side to second, his first trip at the plate. And Apgar wants a new baseball, working in his fifth inning of work. Through 4 innings, Tanner Apgar, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 3 strikeouts, and a walk. Also hit a batter. The 0-1 to Dietrich, chopper to short. Nick Chanez up with it, fires across in time, out number 1. Now Phil Bentz. Bottom third of the lineup for the Hardhats, 7-8-9. The Hardhats catcher bounce one to second. His first time at the plate. So he's just 0 for 1. 1 out, nobody on. Bentz looks at ball 1, a touch outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Apgar toes the rubber once again. Take a look at his pitch count. He's just barely over 50 pitches as Bentz looks at ball 2 high. 2 balls and no strikes. That was his 56th pitch of his night. So keeping the pitch count down, Tanner Apgar. The 2-0, chopper right side to second. Saxton fields and fires the first in time, out number 2. And really outside of the double off the bat of Amarian Saylor, Apgar has not allowed any hard contact. It's been weak bouncers around the infield for the most part. 1 snuck through. 2 outs, nobody on. Wilson Kiefer swings right through the first pitch fastball. Down in the count, he goes 0-1. Kiefer 0 for 1, struck out against Apgar in his first appearance. 0-1, high, right at the eyeballs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hardhats looking to gain any sort of momentum heading into their second game of the doubleheader. 1-1, pop foul right side out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But really, the Hardhats just want a strong showing here at the Firecracker. This is a very quality competition that always comes to Rapid City for this tournament. The 1-2 to Kiefer. Fly ball right side, a long run for Parker Wolf. Foul territory, and he runs out of room and lands in the Papillion bullpen. One ball, 2 strikes on Kiefer. Apgar ready, 2 outs, nobody on. The 1-2 inside, just about hit Kiefer as it squared out of the glove of the catcher, Mache. Twos across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and 2 gone. Set in the 2-2. Fly ball right side out of play. We'll do the 2-2 once again to Kiefer. Apgar ready. Another 2-2. This time a high pop-up shallow left field as the left fielder comes in. Vetter calls off the shortstop Chanez. Makes the grab out number 3. So the Hardhats go down in order in their 5th. They still trail 3-2 heading to the 6th. Back in a moment on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail broadcast booth. Sales, service, and recreation. Top of the 6th, Dylan Marsh back to the hill. He kicks and deals the first pitch to Dominic DeMarco. Swung on and missed 0-1. DeMarco 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. It's DeMarco, Saxton, and Vetter, the 3 scheduled. 0-1, line drive, base hit in the left field in front of Jensen. And the 9 spot, DeMarco on for the 2nd time into the hit column. Now Luke Saxton. 1 for 2 day for him and 3 times at the dish. A single, a run scored, fielder's choice, and a run driven in. And a walk his last trip. Runner on first, nobody out. First pitch, a strike called at the knees, 0-1. DeMarco, plenty of speed at first. He's being held on by Dietrich. And Dietrich just kind of towers over the top of him. Chopper right at the plate by Saxton. Down the count he goes 0-2. Marsh looks in now. Benz is in the shadows. Tough to see. Batters will be in the shadows any moment. The 0-2 outside, a ball and 2 strikes. And about the time the batter is in full shadows is when the Hardhats will be back up at the plate. Most likely. The 1-2 from Dylan Marsh. And it bounces in front of the plate off the glove of Bentz, and up to second goes DeMarco. So a wild pitch allows a man in the scoring position. With nobody out. The 2-2 to Saxton, swung on and missed, and Saxton goes down swinging for round number 1. 4th strikeout for Dylan Marsh. And now Jackson Vetter. One out, man on second. Vetter is 1 for 3. Marsh kicks and deals and hits the zone outside edge at the knees, 0-1. Vetter, a pair of flyouts in his last 2 trips. A single and a run scored way back in inning number 1. The 0-1. A high fly ball right field hooking into the corner. A long run for Harrison Goode, and it's foul in the corner. Boy, that had extra bases and a run scored all written on it. But Vetter just missed extra bases. Steps back in on the right side. Down in the count 0-2. Marsh sidesteps and deals. The 0-2 bounce to right side. Amarian Sailor fields, and they only play to first in timeout number 2. 4-3 in the book for out number 2. DeMarco up to third on the play. That was the only play for Sailor. 3 spot now in Brayton Jones. Jones, an RBI double in the first, hit by a pitch in the third, and bounced to second in the 5th. Deep breath at the plate. Marsh sent at his chest. A high leg kick and delivers. Breaking ball high for ball 1. Dylan Marsh up over 70 pitches in relief. It's odd to see when a starting pitcher has thrown less than a relief pitcher. Line drive, base hit in the left field, and a run comes in to score. It's 4-2, Papillion. RBI single for Brayton Jones, his second run batted in of the night. That's why you put his bat in the 3 spot. Give him RBI opportunities. Left-handed bat now of Jack Burke. He looks at ball 1 inside, 1-0. Burke, a single his last trip, reached on the fielder's choice in the 3rd and bounced back to the pitcher in the 1st. Before the 1-0, Coach Clappridge out of the dugout to have a word with Marsh and Benz. The score is 4-2. Hardhats being out-hit 12-2. Well, I don't remember the last time the Hardhats have been out-hit by a 10-hit margin. It might have been back at the Veterans Classic when they faced Mitchell. Well, the Hardhats did not record a hit over 6 innings against Mitchell. Being out-hit 12-2 tonight. 2 outs, a runner on first, and Marsh hits the outside edge on Jack Burke for a called strike 1. And even after this ball game, the Hardhats have to turn around and play one more. The 1-1. Chopper right side. Amarian Sailor on the ground, fields and fires to first in time out number 3. So Papillion strikes for one more run. Maybe a huge insurance run. They lead 4-2. Hardhats the bat in their half of the 6th. After this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. Top of the order for the Hardhats to lead off their half of the sixth. Now trailing by 2, it's 4-2. And being out hit in this ball game, 11-2. Farley bats from the right side, hit by a pitch and scored a run his last trip. He pops a bunt foul off the screen, 0-1. Bounce to the right side on one pitch in the first. To second. Hit by that pitch on the elbow, right where his guard is at on that front left elbow. In the third. 0-1, strike 2 called across the belt. 0-2 on Farley. Marion Saylor on deck, followed by Wyatt Anderson. Hardhats running out of time here against Papillion. 0-2, breaking ball. Farley thought about it but laid off, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes on Farley. Another breaking ball, and it's swung on to miss. Farley goes down swinging for out number 1. Fourth strikeout for Tanner Apgar. Still looking dominant, just approaching 70 pitches now. This will be his 69th, the first one to Marion Saylor, 1 out and nobody on. Apgar kicks and deals the first pitch, a bouncer left side through the gap into left field. And it's a 1-out single for Marion Saylor. He's 2 for 3. The only Hardhat to have 2 hits. And one of only 2 Hardhats to have a hit in general. The other is Wyatt Anderson. Runner off of first, and a check on Saylor. He steps back in safely. Wyatt Anderson, an RBI single in the third. That was his last trip at the plate. Another pickoff move to first, and Saylor back in standing up. Struck out before that against Apgar. First pitch to Anderson, a breaking ball down and in the turf. Scooped by Mache. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, a runner on first. The Hardhats need any sort of base runners. Tying run at the plate, though. 1-0, a strike on the outer edge at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Waves the bat head out in front of the plate. Apgar set, and the 1-1. After a long pause, misses downstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Harrison Goode would be next, barring a double play ball. Harrison 0 for 2. Fly to center and a fly to right. 2-1, bounces in front of the plate and back to the backstop, up to second easily goes Marion Saylor on the wild pitch. Time is asked for by the third baseman Burke. Quick word with him and Apgar. Three balls and a strike on Wyatt Anderson. There is a reliever warming in the Papillion bullpen, as well as the Hardhats bullpen. Three-one to Anderson. Inside, ball 4. So it'll be runners on first and second, putting the tying run on base for Harrison Goode. Here comes a coach out of the dugout for post 32. That looks to be Nate McCabe. And that might be the end of the day for Apgarth. Meeting of the minds, the entire infield brought around it. There's one out, men on first and second, and Harrison Goode, as mentioned, is 0 for 2. Apgar will stay in the ball game. He's probably told he gets one more batter, unless it's fairly quick and uneventful. Meeting of the minds concludes. Everyone back to their respective positions. The first baseman behind Anderson at first. Saylor being held on by both middle infielders. First pitch to Harrison Goode, downstairs in the turf, up to third and second as Mache couldn't find the baseball. It kind of just popped straight up in the air. And now 2 ducks on the pond in scoring position for the Hardhats. The tying runs. And a ball and no strikes on Harrison Goode. Apgar looks to be running out of steam just a little bit. Couple of wild pitches in the last couple at-bats. The 1-0 to Goode. Downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. This one blocked by Mache. Saylor with plenty of speed. Should the ball go back to the backstop. The Hardhats at this point would take a sacrifice fly if that's what results. And Goode has to duck out of the way of a fastball high and tight. He's up in the count. 3 balls and no strikes. With Dylan Marsh on deck. And boy, Apgar is very wild all of a sudden. He's set and ready, a deep breath, the high leg kick and delivers, and Goode goes after the high fastball. The catcher Mache shaking up a little bit. It ended up in his glove. But it might have hit somewhere on him as well. Three balls and a strike to count. Mache looks to be all right. A round of applause for him. So Goode given the green light on 3-0, and why not? You're trailing by 2 and 2 runners in scoring position. Apgar ready once again, and the 3-1. Swung on and missed. Harrison went after another high fastball. Count runs 4-3-2. He loves that high and tight fastball. Try and turn and burn, and he has connected with it a couple of times. Very difficult to lay off. The payoff to Goode. Bouncer right side, backhand stop by the second baseman Saxton. And the bouncer goes past the first baseman. 2 runs coming to score. Goode ends up at second, and we're tied at 4. Boy, it looked like RBI ground out ends up an error, and 2 runs come across as a result. And I would think, yes, that is the end of the day for Tanner Apgar. The signal to the bullpen, he is not in line for the win, and responsible for the man at second base. Apgar, a round of applause from the Papillion supporters and the Hardhats faithful. A nice day on the mound, but just ran out of gas. Tied at 4, a new arm coming in for Papillion when we return on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail broadcast booth, Sales Service and Recreation. We're still in the bottom of the 6th, and guess what, folks? It's a brand new ball game. We're tied at 4, and the Hardhats still threatening here. They'll see a new arm now, and Dylan Marsh will be the first man to greet Hunter Jones. A right-hander on the mound will work out of the stretch with Harrison Goode on second. Pull up Jones's numbers on the season. On the mound this season, 8 innings pitched. This is his 6th appearance. No record, 9 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned, 17 strikeouts to 7 walks, a 4.38 ERA, and an even 2 whip percentage for Hunter Jones. Opponents hitting .257 against Jones. And the first task will be Dylan Marsh. Weird sequence of events before this new arm came onto the mound and chased Apgar. Looked like an RBI ground out, but Harrison Goode ends up at second on an E4, and Marsh looks at a called strike 1 and a kind of shimmy out of the way of it. Ended up behind him, but it's a called strike 1. It popped out of the glove. That's why it ended up behind him. And 2 runs came in and scored on that error, with Goode ending up at second base as the go-ahead run. Pickoff move back to second, a fake move, and a good thing no one was covering because Goode was kind of leaning towards third. Jones set at the bell. Peek at second, he kicks and deals and misses high and tight. Marsh ducks out of the way of the fastball aimed at his head. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Apgar finishes right at 80 pitches, I believe. Yes, he needed 80 pitches through 47 strikes. The 1-1 from Jones to Marsh, and Harrison Goode takes off for third. The throw ends up in left field. Here comes Harrison Goode to the plate, and he slides in safely. The Hardhats have their first lead of the ball game. It's 5-4. A stolen base and another error. The Hardhats are pumped. It's 5-4, post 22. Give the stolen base to Harrison Goode, but the error to the catcher Mache on the throwdown to third. A ball and 2 strikes on Dylan Marsh. Here it is, and it's a fly ball right side, and it'll be into the bullpen. Out of play. Marsh 0 for 2. Empty base paths now with 1 out. Hardhats had a reliever throwing, and now they'll send Harrison Goode down to the bullpen as their closer now. Marsh looks at ball 2 downstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Harrison Goode has kind of filtered into that closer role. Hasn't been needed that much this season. 2-2. Strike 3 called, a breaking ball. And Marsh goes down looking for out number 2. First strikeout for Jones, second out of the inning. Now Jed Jensen. And Harrison Goode expected to get warm quickly out of the bullpen. He will have his warm-up pitches in the top of the 7th. Jed Jensen looks at ball 1 at the eye level, 1-0. But an interesting stat. When the Hardhats are trailing after 6, they're 0-17, but trailing after 5, they do have 2 wins at 2-14. They trailed after 5 tonight. Now lead 5-4. Average margin of victory or loss this season has been just about 6 runs. Jensen looks at a called strike 2 on the inside edge. He's down to count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jones set at the belt, kicks and deals the 1-2. Popped up, foul territory, right side, and out of play. And that run is charged to the starter, Tanner Apgar. So now Apgar in line for the loss. Harrison Goode looks to be warm already as he's walking back to the dugout. And Jensen looks at a called strike 3 and goes down looking. Back-to-back backwards Ks for out number 3. But the Hardhats take the lead. It's 5-4 post 22 as we head to the 7th. Dylan Marsh looks to take the mound and finish things off with Harrison Goode waiting just in case in the top of the 7th after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.
Streaming at foxsportsrapidcity.com.
First pitch of the 7th, the fly ball right side, foul territory. Harrison Goode can't make the grab, and it's just strike 1 on Nick Chanez on the very first pitch of the inning. We welcome you back into the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail broadcast booth, sales, service, and recreation. Top of the 7th inning, it's a 5-4 advantage for the post 22 Hardhats. After 3 runs put up in the bottom half of the 6th inning. In 1-run games this season, The Hardhats are 4-2. Marsh set, and the 0-1 to Chanez is down and away for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chanez, a pair of singles on his line along with a pop out, so he's 2 for 3. Those 2 singles in his last 2 at-bats. Marsh ready, and the 1-1. High pop-up right side, drifting foul territory, and Dietrich will run out of room. It lands about 5 feet out of play, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. And in case you're wondering, after 6, when the Hardhats are leading, they're 27-0. The 1-2 from Dylan Marsh to Nick Chanez. Misses well, back to the backstop. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marsh ready and set for the 2-2. Kicks and deals, and a pop-up right side, foul territory out of play. Harrison Goode on the move once again. And Chanez just continues to foul away and spoil 2 strike pitches. Chanez, O'Brien, and Wolf. That part of the lineup is 3 for 9 tonight. This one, a foul ball off the foot of Chanez. And we'll do the 2-2 once again. And Chanez has 2 out of the 3 hits. O'Brien is 0 for 3. Wolf is 1 for 3. Very nice crowd on hand for the first game of this doubleheader. I guess they'll stick around for the second as well. Breaking ball down stairs on the 2-2. 3-2 to leadoff man. Hardhats would hate to surrender to leadoff man and put him on base. The payoff pitch, a little line drive, a sliding grab by Alex Dietrich at first, and that's out number 1. Chanez kind of flared the bat out in front, took it to the opposite side, and Dietrich awake at first. Had to slide to his right, but made the grab out number 1. Now Isaiah O'Brien. First pitch, ball outside. At the north-south, not the east-west. 1 ball and no strikes. Open stance on the right side. O'Brien 0 for 3. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Even count now. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Hardhats leading 5-4. This one might be a big morale booster for the Hardhats. A fly ball to left field. Long run for Jed Jensen, and he's underneath of it now. That's out number 2. Just hung up enough for Jensen to run underneath of it. He lost his Hardhat in left field. But battling the sun, he didn't have any issues once he was underneath of that one. An F7 in the book for out number 2. 2 outs, nobody on. And the Hardhats in no doubles defense. Jensen goes way back. This one, a line drive, base hit in right center field. Goode cuts it off and quickly throws it into the infield. It's a 2-out single for Parker Wolf, his second hit of the ball game, and the tying run is on base with 2 outs. Brings up Jaden Mache, the catcher. Mache 0 for 2. Fly to right, a strikeout, and he dropped down a sacrifice bunt. Quick meeting between him and Coach McCain up the third base line. Marsh ready, and the first pitch found away right side out of play. 0-1. Tap to the plate on the right side. Marsh looks in the Benz. Marsh still in the sunlight. The 0-1. Called strike 2, and post 32 potentially down to their final strike of the ball game. Marsh looks in the Benz, and Benz flashes a sign. He likes it. Benz wants it upstairs. The 0-2. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A man on second and 2 gone. A man off of first and 2 gone, rather. Marsh ready. Benz ready. The 1-2. Breaking ball down and away. Benz out of his crouch, and he blocks that one. Even count 2-2. Kicks and deals the 2-2 down and away, snagged by Benz again, and the count runs full. 3-2. Marsh toes the rubber for the payoff pitch. Runner will likely be in motion. He is. The payoff popped up right side, foul territory, and Dietrich runs out of room. Boy, just off the end of the bat of Mache. Down still 3-2. Payoff pitch, down and away, ball 4. And Mache draws a walk after the single. And now the Hardhats will likely call upon Harrison Goode. No signal just yet, but Coach Clapperidge will take the baseball from Marsh. Give Dylan Marsh a big round of applause back at home. And if you're listening here at the ballpark, he deserves it. Coming in relief, and a great outing on the mound. Here comes Harrison Goode. We'll take a step aside and be back for the rest of the 7th after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Hardhats leading 5-4. Now there are 2 men on first and second. Harrison Goode takes the mound to try and record the final out of this ball game. Goode on the mound this season. He enters for the 9th time. An 0-1 record, 7 1/3 innings. 8 hits, 7 runs, all earned. 12 strikeouts, 9 walks. But Goode throws hard and features a little bit different look out of the bullpen. He is a right-hander, so same side of the rubber that the hitter is expecting from the previous 3 right-handers. The batter is Dominic DeMarco. First pitch, inside, ball 1. So 2 on, 2 outs. Dylan Marsh takes back over at second base. Amarian Sailor to left field. Jed Jensen out of this ball game. Actually, Amarian Sailor to right field. And Goode misses outside for ball 2. Jensen remains in left field. 2-0. Up and away, now ball 3. Top of the order on deck. 3 balls and no strikes on DeMarco. Here it is. Strike called on the upper outside edge, 3-1. Goode into the zone for the first time. Harrison is set at the belt, the 3-1, outside ball 4. So a single, a walk, new pitcher, and a walk. Bases full. Luke Saxton at the plate. He's 1 for 3. Tying run at third, go-ahead run at second. How's your heart rate doing? First pitch from Harrison, Goode, inside ball 1. Goode twirls the baseball behind his back, likes the sign, quickly kicks and delivers. It's strike 1, inside edge. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Goode likes the sign, set once again. And the 1-1, outside by a touch, 2-1. Not missing by much. Bases full and 2 outs, 5-4 Hardhats. The 2-1. Outside ball 3. Nowhere to put him. This one has to be in the strike zone, and it can't be too good for Saxton. The 3-1. Outside edge called strike 2. Payoff pitch upcoming. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs, bases full. Hardhats leading by 1 run. Here's the payoff pitch from Harrison, Goode. And it misses high, ball 4. And we're tied. Wolf scores on the bases loaded walk. Mache to third, DeMarco to second, and Saxton with the RBI. Dietrich comes over along with Phil Benz out to the mound to let Harrison Goode know, don't worry about it. Get the next guy. We're tied at 5. Bases still full though, but 2 outs. Vetter has a hit tonight, but it was way back in the first. This one a line drive, base hit in the left field. 1 run comes in and scores. Jensen to throw in. It's cut off. And it's a 2-run single for Jackson Vetter. And it's 7-5. Now first and second, 2 gone, 7-5 Papillion. Goode kicks and deals. The first pitch to Braden Jones is called strike 1. Set once again, and the 0-1 outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Hardhats will have 7, 8, and 9 due up in the bottom of the 7th. We'll play that regardless. 1-1, a line drive, base hit into center field. In front of Zeke Farley to throw to the plate, cut off, and another run comes in and scores. 8-5 now. Third hit of the ball game for Braden Jones. And the 9th man to come to the plate in the 7th inning. All with 2 outs. Now here comes Coach Clapperidge. This inning started off rather uneventful. A line out to first and a fly ball to left. And Harrison Goode's night is done. We'll see a new arm. It'll be Wilson Kiefer to take over for the Hardhats. We'll take a step aside and be right back on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail broadcast booth. Sales, service, and recreation. 8-5 our score in favor of Papillion now. 4 runs in this top of the 7th. Wilson Kiefer, the new arm. And first pitch foul ball right at the plate off the bat of Jack Burke. 9th man sent to the plate in this inning for Papillion. All with 2 outs. But after those 2 outs, a single, a walk, another walk after the pitching change. And then a bases loaded walk to tie things up. Strike 2 on the inside edge, 0-2. 2-run single then. And an RBI single. Oh, 2, chopper right side. And Amari Saylor throws to first in time out number 3. 8-5 our score. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Alex Dietrich, Phil Bentz, and Wilson Kiefer at least scheduled to hit in the bottom of the 7th. Hardhats trailing by 3 right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail broadcast booth, sales, service, and recreation. Bottom of inning number 7. Hardhats have 7, 8, 9 to bat. Alex Dietrich, Phil Bentz, and Wilson Kiefer. Then it's the top of the order if the Hardhats get that far. It's 8-5 Papillion. It'll be against Hunter Jones. Alex Dietrich, the first task. Jones out the windup for the first time. He kicks and deals. The first pitch chopped up the third baseline. Foul. Dietrich 0 for 2. And this part of the lineup 0 for 6. Mostly against Tanner Apgar. Dietrich looks at ball one and skipped in front of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. And this is actually the first time this part of the lineup has faced Hunter Jones. Into the wind and the 1-1. Strike across the belt. 1 ball, 1 strike. A ball and 2 strikes on Dietrich. Hunter Jones, a deep breath, winds, kicks, deals, the 1-2. Up and away, ball 2. Leadoff man for the bottom of the 7th. The Hardhats turn around and play another game here tonight. Time is asked for at the plate just as Jones goes into his wind. Hardhats play Rocky Mountain, the Lobos, after this ball game. The 2-2. Outside, 3-2. Right now, the Hardhats are looking for base runners, quality at-bats, anything to get something of a rally started in the final half inning of regulation. Trailing by 3. Into the wind, the payoff pitch. Pop foul out of play, right side. We'll do it again. Alex Dietrich, when he puts the ball in play this season, is hitting just a tick under 300 at 299. The payoff pitch just got a piece of it and found it right back to the backstop. Count remains 3-2. Ready once again. Dietrich tapping the plate on the right side. Another payoff from Jones. And it skips in front of the plate. Dietrich lays off. It's ball 4. So he's on base for the first time tonight. Lead off, base runner, and walk. Great at-bat for Alex Dietrich. Brings up Phil Bentz. Pair of groundouts on the right side to second. And Luke Saxton. First pitch to Bentz, skips in front of the plate, ball 1, blocked by Mache. 1 ball, no strikes. Lots of young fans in attendance here tonight. I believe it's a Little League night tonight, a Little League night tomorrow night. The 1-0 pop foul right side out of play. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. And a balk on the mound because Jones just dropped the baseball. So Dietrich up to second because of the dropped baseball. Man in scoring position for the Hardhats now. A ball and a strike on Bentz. Jones kicks in, deals the 1-1. Popped up right side, out of play. A ball and 2 strikes now on the Hardhats catcher. Ben's batting .205 on the season, but when he puts the ball in play, batting .257. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Snagged on the back end by the catcher, Mache, on the breaking ball. Benz goes down swinging out, number 1. Third strikeout already for Hunter Jones. 2 going back to last inning. That's the 2 outs that he recorded in the 6th. And now Wilson Kiefer. First pitch to Kiefer, bounces behind the plate. Dietrich tries for third to throw down, wild to third, up the left field line, and Dietrich will come in and score. It's 8-6. Take a breather, young man. Tried to advance on the wild pitch and a wild throw by the catcher. Making a wild pitch in an error. And the Hardhats at least get 1 run back. Here in the bottom of the 7th. There is 1 out. Kiefer at the plate. Empty base paths now. But for sure, at least Farley, the top of the lineup, will hit. No matter what. Jones winds, kicks, deals, and the 1-0. Kiefer squared the bunt. Pulled back. The appeal, no swing. Two balls and no strikes on Kiefer. Kiefer 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly to left. The 2-0. Inside, ball 3. There is another reliever warming in the Papillion bullpen. The 3-0 winds. Bounces in front of the plate, back to the backstop. Kiefer sprints down to first. He'll take a turn, but hold up there. A 1-out walk puts the tying run at the plate for the Hardhats. Some young fans to my left. Canyon Lake Little League night. First pitch to Farley, half swing, he went around, but it's back to the backstop. Kiefer moves into scoring position on the wild pitch. And Farley down in the count 0-1. One out, runner on second. 8-6. The score in favor of post 32. Jones wants to relook at the signs, and now Farley, after a long delay, asks for time. Ready in the 0-1. Up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Kiefer has some speed at second. Ball hit to the outfield, you'd think that he'd be sent around. 1-1, bounces off the plate, it won't need. Kiefer up to third on another wild pitch. So the 7th run for the Hardhats, 90 feet away now. Still just the 1 out. And Farley at the plate, a Morning Sailor on deck. Farley looking for his first hit of this ball game. He's been on base, but he was hit by a pitch. The 2-1 to Farley. Strike on the outside edge, 2-2. Jones set at the belt. Ready, a deep breath, and the 2-2. Down low, 3-2. Payoff pitch coming to Zeke Farley now. Where do you go on 3-2? Here's the payoff. Chopper right at the plate, foul. And Farley will see another pitch. Jones up over 30 pitches in total. That was his 31st, actually 32nd. This will be his 33rd. Their payoff to Farley. Swing and a miss. Got him on the breaking ball and just pulled the string. Farley down on strikes for out number 2. 4th strikeout for Hunter Jones. Now Amari and Saylor. The tying run remains at the plate for Saylor. He's 2 for 3, a double and a single. First pitch is Saylor. Taken on the way, a breaking ball called strike 1 across the belt. Jones ready. And the 0-1. Outside edge called strike 2. Hardhats potentially down to their final strike of game 1 of their doubleheader. The 0-2 to Amari and Saylor. Chopper to third on a couple of hops. Burke fields and fires the first, out at first, and that's the ball game. Papillion victorious, 8-6 the final score, and one that just slipped through the finger cracks of the Hardhats. They fall to 0-2 here at the Firecracker tournament, 29-18 on the season. And we'll get set for game 2 of this doubleheader in just a few moments. Take a 30-second step aside and come back for our post-game show for game 1. After this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome to the Pioneer Bank & Trust post-game show. Pioneer Bank & Trust is proud to support local sports, and they want to be your trusted partner for all your banking needs. Pioneer Bank & Trust is local. Visit pioneerbankandtrust.com. Well, this one, the Hardhats fall at the hands of Papillion. Post 32, Pinnacle Bank varsity team out of Papillion, Nebraska. In game 1 of their doubleheader, and game 2 overall here at the Firecracker tournament, by a final score of 8-6. This ball game had everything you would have wanted. A classic comeback and that intensity with every fan on the edge of their seat, ready for potential Hardhats victory after they came all the way back. 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th to take the lead by 1. At 6-5, the 4 in the top half of the 7th. Actually, it was 5-4 at that point in favor of the Hardhats. They did gain 1 in the 7th, but 4 runs in the top half just slipped through the fingertips of the Hardhats. Down to their final strike, Papillion was. With 2 outs, Parker Wolf hit a single. Next batter walked. Put on a new pitcher, a walk. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Full count pitch, misses high for ball 4, and that's the tying run. We're tied at 5 at that point. Then Jackson Vetter comes up. It's a 2-run single. Braden Jones comes up and knocks in another one, an RBI single of his own, before Wilson Kiefer comes to the mound and records the final out of the ball game. Or final out of the top of the 7th. In the bottom half, a walk by Alex Dietrich. A balk allowed him to second base. A wild pitch and an error allowed him to score. Strikeout of Philip Bentz. Wilson Kiefer walked and went to third on a couple of wild pitches. Farley then struck out, and Saylor bounced out to third for the final out of the ball game, and the Hardhats fall 8-6. Final line score in this ball game, boy, the Hardhats were lucky, very lucky to even be in this ball game at all. 8 runs, 14 hits, 3 errors by Papillion. The Hardhats had 3 hits and had 6 runs to show for it. 6 runs on 3 hits. That does not happen too often, and they were in position to win this ball game. No errors either for Post 22, and now they'll have to regroup, have a short memory like you have to do in this game of baseball, and turn around and play the back half of this doubleheader. So until then, when the Hardhats face the Rocky Mountain Lobos, well, send it back to National Fox programming and coming back in about 25 minutes time here in Rapid City. Until then, my name is Adam Birch. Thank you so much for tuning in for Game 1. We hope you turn in for Game 2 as well.